back to Praggers Gaming. I'm Gamer Praggers, and this is Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector. We're going to do a new game, and we're going to still pick Dangerous, but I think we're going to go with the Machinist as our class, because it's something different. Crew stress to focus and action dice. Now, I don't know if in the last run whether not using the reboot was a good thing or not, because we could have re-rolled the lowest dice for 1 point of stress, but I think that's quite dangerous, because if you've got enough stress, if you roll a 1, that then breaks that dice. So I don't think re-rolling is a good thing. So the choices are either then the Extractor, which seems quite good because you can put 2 to the lowest crew dice, or the Machinist +2 and focus the lowest dice. I don't know what that means, but you lose the stress on a focused die positive outcome. Yeah. Do you know what? We're going to go with the Extractor instead. In the moment before waking, the dark space, before conscious thought, you struggle to find the pieces of yourself. Usually these pieces come with a particular cadence, each appearing sequentially like the boot process of an old terminal. First your body, artificial, compromised, but relaying sense data all the time. Then its context, the breeze of air filtration, the sort of contact of your birth in 0G. Then emotion, coming into focus, coming into your body, bringing with it that first instinct, the one that has framed your past 100 cycles, fear. But that familiar sequence does not arrive. Instead, you are unmoored in space, your body distant, your context silent, even your emotions somehow obscured and scattered. Among all that disarray, only one familiar thing arrives: the fear. It's a scrambled, panicked fear, the drowning fear, the falling fear, the fear that makes you reach desperately for any stable point. It is the fear that tells you something is wrong, something is very wrong with you. Wake up, sleeper. The voice is whispered in your ear, an act that makes you suddenly aware of your head pulsing in pain, your body rigid with tension. Sleeper. A familiar name, a mind copied, emulated, a body built, implanted. One person, sleeping, until their debt is worked away, their double being made to work, to be consumed, and eventually to be destroyed. A proxy. An emulation. A sleeper. This is what you are. But you escaped. You remember that now. Broke free of your corporate creators, S&up, in search of a future. You cannot remember the details of your escape, but you know the fear has been with you ever since. All of a sudden, you remember you have eyes and your eyes flicker open. Pale eyes in a pale face. Lane. The name comes with its own specific sensation of fear, one you recoil from instinctively. Sorry to interrupt. A sharp smirk. But this ends here. You search your mind for more than a name. Is this how you reward me for my generosity? Lane's leaning over your horizontal floating body, looking down into your eyes. I took you in, protected you, gave you a purpose. You try to look away to the corners of your vision to find something you understand. Your body does not respond. But I suppose that wasn't enough. He reaches into the pocket of his jacket and retrieves a small vial. This wasn't enough. The vial glitters, the object you know and have known for a long time. Stabilizer, the drug that keeps your artificial body, your emulated mind from inevitable decay. The only balm for your planned obsolescence. The liquid roiling in your the vial fills you with disgust. Lane pockets the vial. But it would be wasted on you now, after what you've done to this body of yours. He looks at you with a palpable disgust. Lane's eyes scan your body. As they do, you become aware of the wires and tubes attached to you, those that were meant to free you from your dependence, from the stabilizer and the control it grants Lane. "They are free, you piece of shit. They don't need you anymore." The voice comes from somewhere behind Lane's head. It is a voice you know, but when you search your mind to try to understand why, you find only dizzying darkness. "Shut him up." Lane barks the command, and you hear the sounds of impact, of pain, from elsewhere in the room. You try to move your limbs again, and this time you feel a flicker, the twitch of a finger. You feel the extension and compression of synthetic muscle. "Free, are you?" Lane smirks. "You were free when I disabled your tracker, when I gave you the stabilizer you needed." He scans your body with angry eyes. "Now you aren't free. You're just broken." "I had such big plans for you, Sleeper. I invested in you." Lane grips your arm hard, and you feel a jolt of reaction. You will the arm to move. But you have ruined all that. Lane speaks louder over the sound of the struggle behind him. "I will try to preserve your body, of course. I have my own uses for it. But your emulation..." You feel one of his hands searching behind your head. He finds and grips the thick cable running into the port at the base of your skull. "I will burn that out." Lane jerks forward, slamming across your body, then spinning away out of sight. You feel yourself rolling, the cables plugged into you, looping and wrapping around your limbs. Then you feel hands steadying you, pulling cables. You glance around wildly and see someone diligently unplugging you. You meet his eyes. "Hey!" He waves a hand in your dazed face. "We need to move. Lane won't be out long." He unloops a cable from around your wrist. "Sleeper, help me out here." You blink, slowly. Do you know this person? He leans over you, and you feel his hands on the connector, flicking switches, releasing locks. Come on. He tugs the connector clear and pulls you up. You see the room you're in for the first time, filled with tech and terminals, wires waving everywhere, all lit by big windows looking out on an impossibly bright, screen-filled street beyond. In the corner, you see the dark shape of a floating body surrounded by a glittering constellation of crimson baubles. Is that blood? Move! You are wrestled and shoved towards the door, which slides open in front of you, and then you are out in all that brightness, all that movement, gliding hard towards some unknown destination. You come to a stop in a dark alley, the one who guided you here pausing to catch his breath. He doubles over beside a massive life support unit that sends a lukewarm breeze across your skin. You stare at him, trying to recall anything about him. You notice his tattered jacket, his lightweight clothes. You remember this station runs hot. Something about the power that flows through the place. He looks up and meets your eye. What's going on, Sleeper? He wipes sweat from his forehead and it floats away in a swarm of spheres. Talk to me. Where are we? Somewhere on the Starward side. Not too far from the docks, I hope. You see a concerned frown cross his face. That's not what you meant, is it? He comes closer, eyeing you carefully. What station are we on? He narrows his eyes, waits for the answer. You close your eyes, trying to recall. You force your way through the dark to the image of a station. No, a city, growing on the back of a vast set of hexagonal solar cells shadowed by them. You open your eyes. Darkside. The word leaves your mouth like an exhale, an instinct. Before you heard yourself sound it out, you didn't know it was there. He sighs. And me, who am I? You see something like fear in his eyes. Panic, perhaps? You stare hard at his face, the slight upturn of his mouth, the intensity of his stare. Nothing comes. He closes his eyes and drops his head, putting a hand to his temple. The reboot. He's speaking quietly to himself. Lane interrupted the process, and he lifts his head and stares at you. We need to keep going. We need to leave. He turns and kicks off down the alley. Come on, the rig can't be far. As you are led through the passages and service ways of the station, you try to recall your life here. The texture, the temperature of Darkside feels familiar, but you struggle to pin specific memories to it. Focusing hard, you recall waking up in these passages cycle after cycle, the rhythms of the station flowing over you along with the crowds. You recall desperation and the slow decay of your body that caused it. Then Lane, those pale eyes, offering you a glittering vial, stabilizer, the promise of supplying more for your work, a deal he locked you into like a cage. There, your memory fails you, but in the dark beyond that moment, the residue of panic, of fear, remains. You were Lane's prisoner, Lane's plaything. You shudder in the cold passage. Wait. Your guide holds up a hand, and you stop your glide using the wall. Ahead, you see the tunnel opens up into a wide open bay with a few doors leading to cylindrical tunnels. The docks. They're watching the rig. He nods towards the docks, and you see one of the doors has a couple of figures flanking it, one covered in ornate tattoos, the other with bright silver implants along their cheekbones. Utsubo, Lane's guys. He looks at you and shakes his head in frustration. All this, it's not coming back to you, is it? Something catches your eye and you see he's playing with a coin, nervously turning it over and over in his fingers. He sees you looking and slips it away. He places a hand on his chest. I'm Seraphim, alright? He looks pained when he speaks. Lane, he was our captor. Both of us. We did this so we could escape. We needed to reboot you, to break your dependency on stabilizer. He pauses. You know what that is, right? You nod meekly. But Lane interrupted me back there. The reboot didn't complete and... He sighs and shakes his head. We can still make this work. He looks back at the docks. I'll lead them away. You get the docking bridge open. If we make it to the rig, I know how to get us in. Got that? He searches your face for a sign of recognition. I've got it. Get that door open. He pats you on the shoulder. I know you you can do this. Seraphim kicks off hard and glides into the docks. Over here, shitheads! He bellows to the guards as he barrels through. They immediately push off from the wall, giving chase. You wait a breath, then glide across the door they were guarding. You look already panicked at the tightly sealed door, its control panel locked out. You hear a shout from somewhere nearby. You need to get it open. We're going to break the seal. Neutral. You shift to the central access panel and wrench it open. You scan over the mechanism looking for a weakness. Somewhere nearby, you hear more shouting. You reach in and grab the main latch, straining as you bend it outward. The seal releases and you drag the door halfway open. It screeches in its metal frame as you pull. Go, go! Seraphim flies past you through the doorway into the docking tunnel. You turn to see the two guards approaching fast across the docks and quickly glide after Seraphim. Seraphim is already at the rig's door, inputting an entry code. The rig's door scissors open, and you both rush inside. Quickly! Seraphim grabs you by the arm and drags you up to the cockpit, the ship's layout hazy in your mind. He dumps you in a flight seat and straps himself into his own. You see him tap a series of buttons as he does, talking to himself. Come on! The rig's drive rumbles into life, and Seraphim slams a button on the console. You feel the force of the ship's acceleration as it pulls away. Okie doke. As the ship glides into place on the connecting bridge, its automatic systems nudged there by the port's docking protocols, you feel a sense of relief. Seraphim burned hard out of Darkside, and you dropped in and out of consciousness in your seat as the rig made its way across the belt. But now, with open space between you and Lane, you feel fresher, more awake. Seraphim breaks the silence. We're good, sleeper. His eyes don't leave the monitor, and you realise this part of your escape is routine for him. You and he must have docked this ship countless times in your work for Lane. The problem is, you don't remember any of them. We made it, he whispers, closing his eyes and letting out a sigh. We certainly did. He turns and you see a pained look on his face, as if remembering something difficult. Have you said this exact thing to him before? In this same situation? Are you okay? He looks at you, chewing one side of his lip, searching your face. Not really, he puffs. Seraphim reaches up, flicking through a set of switches in a practiced fashion, completing the shutdown. You watch, a little frustrated with your own uselessness. Running the rig, you realise, is just another thing you've forgotten. A clunk that runs through the walls of the ship is followed by a short percussive alarm tone from the port's console. Docking complete. Seraphim kicks off from his seat, twisting as he glides past you towards the back of the cockpit. His hands fill the rails on either side of the door, and he pauses, facing into the corridor beyond. He turns back to you, backlit in cold cyan. We need a plan. He glances around. Lane's not going to let us slip away quietly, he sighs. We hide here. Seraphim glances around. I hope you don't mean on the rig. He smiles a little, his teasing still a little unsure. His smile fades. Maybe, but on the approach, Hexport looked like a pretty small place to disappear into. We have brought ourselves some time. He glances through the cockpit window at the blinking lights of the station. You may not remember Hexport, but I do. And there are plenty of opportunities here for us, if we can keep our heads down. He turns back to the corridor. That's what we'll do. He pushes off, glides towards the main lock, and you follow, pulling yourself along, hand over hand in 0G. We already emptied the tank on this thing. He slaps a hand against the ship's insides, so we need to refuel, and that won't be cheap. But if you and I know one thing, Sleeper, it's how to work. I'm going to get myself reacquainted, see if I can turn up any of my old connections, people that might throw us an easier contract. You? He glances back over your shoulder. You keep out of trouble. Low profile, got it. Seraphine stops at the airlock. Stopping the reboot halfway through, he pulls a worn crew jacket from a locker and starts pulling it on. We don't know what that did to you. He jams an arm into a sleeve. I don't want you passing out in... He stops. It'll take both of us. I hate it when you're right. He grabs another crew jacket and thrusts it at you. Just put the damn hood up, will you? You take it and slip it on. Thank you. Seraphine nods. He stabs at the buttons to open the lock. The inner door hisses open and Seraphine glides through. Wait for a little bit, then leave. Anyone looking for us will be looking for two people travelling together. He looks at you in your worn crew jacket, a limited disguise for what is clearly a sleeper. We meet back here later. Any trouble? Same thing. Meet here. He surveys your disguise again and shakes his head. This is a shitty idea. He gives you one last look. Maybe find yourself something to eat. Suddenly you recognise Seraphine's instinct to look after you. A flash of a relationship now lost to the reboot. Catch. Seraphine throws a handful of something towards you. You manage to grab the projectiles, and when you open your hand you see a stack of cryo chips. Those should get you some food. We'll need some more fuel and supplies, he grimaces. That means odd jobs on the station for both of us. Seraphine kicks off and glides down the docking bridge. Don't go too far, alright? He shouts as he leaves. Take it slow. And with that, he's gone, leaving the connecting bridge and heading into Hexport's docking concourse. You wait for a moment in silence. It's hard to know what's going on inside Seraphine's head. Here he is, on some hapless escape plan with a friend who can't remember a thing about him. You try to imagine how close you both must have been for him to agree to this thing, but it is painful to think about. That's all gone now, anyway. All you can do is move on. You shake the thoughts from your head and pull the jacket tight. Let's see what Hexport has to offer. You kick off and glide into port. Okay. Right. Is there a way to... No. Okay. Right, Hexport docks. Right. So we've got engage, exchange, engineer, which is dangerous. Okay. Okay. That's -2, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. That's got me some more energy. Okay. Put these in. Okay. Okay. Right. Let's... We can't do any of that, so we just need to end the cycle. Let's see if we can finish up the work at the docks. Docks. Oh, we're starving. We're in trouble, Sleeper. Seraphine leans into the bunks as you're getting up. Without further explanation, he disappears down the corridor towards the rear of the ship. You drift out into the passage, pulling on your clothes and glide down the length of the rig, the cool air making you shiver. Seraphine is a silhouette, silently leading the way. He stops at the far end, diverting through a slide door, shooting you a glance as he does. You find Seraphine inside, holding one of a tangle of arm-thick tubes that are waving in the 0G engine room. You know what these are? Fuel pipes. Seraphin shrugs. Close enough. These are the engine's feed lines. He waves one in the air. And before you ask, no, they aren't supposed to be waggling loose. What happened? They must have broke loose when we pushed the ship hard on our way out of Darkside. He looks at the mess. We are lucky the reserve tank is empty, otherwise... He shakes his head. It would have been bad. But, he pushes the pipe to the side. No feed from the reserve tank means that the rig's range is limited to the local region only. He thumps the large lumpen housing of the engine. This thing can't take us anywhere far. So we fix it? That's the short of it. Seraphin whacks the engine housing again, harder this time. Just not been our run of luck. He turns and starts gathering the tangled feed lines, his frustration evident in the violence of his movements. We need a new set of these, that's for sure. He starts forcing them into a crate. So how about you try and track them down? I'll take a look at things here and see if I can figure out another fix for the reserve tank. He glances up from his work. From what I've heard on Hexport, Factory Row is the place to find shop fitters. Maybe you can do some recon while I sort this place out. It's on the other end of the station. Okay, I'll take a look. Seraphin keeps working. Wait, Seraphin pauses, seemingly unsure. There's something else. He drops the feed lines and they float, waving in the air like tubular seaweed. I've heard word that Lane's on the hunt. He frowns. A message went out everywhere in the local radius of Darkside. He's looking for us. Shit. You said it, Seraphin sighs, which is why we need those feed lines. I'm going to try to work something out. Maybe I can improvise a solution. I don't know. He looks down. I'm no shop fitter. But while I do, you go hunting. See what you can turn up, okay? He smiles a weak smile. Get going. You leave the engine room, the clanking sound of Seraphin's cleanup efforts echoing through the ship. Fuel feed lines. That's the next step. You take a deep breath and head out. Okay. So, yes. Well, we'll look for fuel. So we've got the warehouses. Okay. Nice. So that's a way for us to make some money. Export docks. We didn't finish that, so let's chuck that in. There we go. As you glide across the docking concourse, you hear a scuffle. The noise of raised voices cuts through the conversation drifting out of the dockside shops. Glancing down an alley, you see a huddle of figures shouting back and forth. You spot one man in the middle of the group, surrounded, pushing the others back as they grab at the bag slung over their shoulder. You don't like the way this looks, but then, again, Seraphin told you to keep your head down. Hey. Without thinking, you kick off and glide down the alley, nudging the parabola of your drift, so you slam directly to the back of the most aggressive assailant. The impact sends them into the steel wall, and as if on cue, the figure under attack lashes out at the nearest body. He swings his bag in a crunching arc that sends his target tumbling head over heels back down the alley. The next moments are a blur of impact as you grapple in the alley, kicking off from pipes and panels. A few seconds later, a call signals the assailants retreat and they flee, shouting curses at you and the figure. You steady yourself and a heavy hand falls on your shoulder. Am I supposed to be impressed? The man gives you a skeptical look. You like to throw yourself into fights you have no stake in? He laughs. Bel's gonna eat you up. I was helping? The man laughs. Well, he shakes his head. Thanks, I guess. He kicks off and drifts past you. You watch the man go and then, after a moment, he stops and turns back. He rubs his forehead, looking down as he does. What is your deal anyway? He sighs. Maybe you weren't new here, but Hexport is no place for do-gooders. I need help. The man raised his eyebrow. So you look for trouble? He shakes his head. You've got it all wrong. Look, let's not hang around, alright? The man pats his chest. I'm Femi. He unshoulders one of the bags and pushes it towards you. Make yourself useful. Let's head. You get the strap of the bag over your shoulder and follow him through the docks, gliding past the concourse towards the connecting bridges. He cuts down a side passage, looking back to check you are following, then he stops at a docking bridge connecting to a dull green ship with yellow markings. You look at the viewing window as at its odd catamaran-like shape, seemingly built from two separate hulls welded together. Symbol crash, he says, and you assume that's the ship names. Femi, you bringing in strays? A young woman, brightly dressed and stretching as she glides, drifts into the passage. She glances at you. No offense. Nia? Femi shakes his head. This one? He squeezes your shoulder. Helped me fend off some Hexport scum while you were busy sunning yourself. Nia raises an eyebrow. I'm sure you could handle them, big brother. Her glib response hides the flash of concern that passes across her face. You can't tell if Femi noticed. Nia turns to you. Thanks, she smiles. And I'm sorry for my brother. She shoots him a glance, just in general. Nia, enough now. He reaches over and takes the bag you were carrying. Nia rolls her eyes at you but stays silent. Factory row wouldn't take these. Femi hefts the bags. I'm going to load them back up. Maybe we can find a use for them. He turns back to you. Thanks for the assist, Sleeper. He nods firmly. Not what I expected. He slaps the button for the bridge door and kicks off along the docking bridge on his way to the simple crash. Nia looks at you with raised eyebrows. I hope my brother was joking, or did you really help him? It was nothing. Humble and a hero, she laughs. Thank you. She looks back at the ship. My brother needs help more than he admits. It's okay. I want to ask you something. She takes a deep breath and gives you a direct look. What is she building up to? Are you looking for a crew? She looks away. Sorry to be direct, but you seem like, well, if you're on Hexport, maybe you are with a crew. She stops herself. I mean, maybe your crew needs crew. Maybe you are looking. I am. She struggles to hide her smile. Nia looks back at the ship, then at you. Look, I'll be honest. Being on a crew with my brother is nice, but he is suffocating me. She frowns at her own bluntness. I'm not a kid anymore, you know? But he still just sees me like one. She shrugs. I want to show him I can handle myself. I need experience. I need to run some contracts. She gives you a determined look. What do you say? I'll think about it. I'm a good salvager, alright? You can use me. I can spot things, find gaps, ways in. She folds her arms across her chest. I know what I'm doing. Femi taught me well. She glances back at the ship. Just consider it, alright? Let me prove myself. Suddenly a shout from the ship echoing down the passage. Femi. He makes both of you nervous. Nia looks in his direction. I should go. She pushes off towards the docking bridge. I'll be waiting. Nia gives you one last glance as she departs and disappears into the docking bridge, leaving you alone in the passage. Okay. Oh, I see. Right, we need food. Okay. Some more cryo. Hexport exchange. Okay. There we go. And we've got some cryo for that as well. Okay. So we've got the Hexport canteen where we can eat. And the trade hall where we can buy stuff. Okay. We've also got factory row. But we have no dice. So we are going to end the cycle. No, not that one. Yeah. We are starving. And we did not manage to find any fuel. Right. First things first, we're going to go to the canteen and eat. Okay, so that gives us 4. And that's 13 as opposed to 7, which is 14, but that would only give us 2, so we'd actually be paying slightly more. The other thing, that takes it down to a 4 anyway, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. I think that's where we're going to call this episode, actually. So we've got started. We've made it to Hexport, and we need to start looking for some fuel lines. But for now, thank you for hanging out. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, ticking the bell so new videos go live. In the description is a link to the channel Discord. Feel free to come and talk about the games you're playing, the games I'm playing, games in general. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!